The sun will rise, rain will fall, you're going to pay taxes, and streaming services increase the prices of their service. These are all immutable truths in life. And Netflix has just announced they're raising prices again. This is the Hollywood Reporter is saying the ad-supported tier will raise by $1 a month, while the standard and premium plans raise by another $2 per month. They write the following. Netflix is hiking subscription prices across all its plans in its first major price increase in more than a year. The plans were disclosed on Netflix's help page Thursday. The ad-supported tier will rise by $1. Actually, let's go over and take a look at this chart. So the ad-supported tier was $8. You pay to watch commercials. I'll never understand that. I don't understand that. You pay to watch commercials. Anyway, you're paying $8 to watch commercials. Now, lucky you now get to pay $9 a month to watch commercials. If you're somebody who believes your time is worth something and you have like the standard plan, it was $18, not anymore. Now it's $20. And if you're lucky enough to have the premium plan, you were paying $25 a month. You are now paying $27 a month. What is not mentioned in the Hollywood Reporter story is that the charging for password sharing has also gone up.
Oops.
If you now are somebody who gets to share the password with somebody on the ad-supported plan, you go from $7, or you go up to $7 a month, which is up $1. And if you are somebody who is using the ad-free plan, you're now up to $10 a month, which is also up by $1. I want to put this into some perspective for you. See if I can just double check and find this. In 2021, let me bring this screen back up here. So ad-supported $9, standard $20, premium $27. In 2021, the basic ad-free, because remember back in 2021, it was all ad-free, was $8.99. You had a standard ad-free Netflix plan for the same price that you now tomorrow are going to be paying for a plan that includes commercials. What was known as their standard plan at the time, the standard now ad-free, while today it is now, or as of today is now $20, just 5 years ago, 2021, that price was $14. Now 20, it was 14 just in 2021. The premium, which is now $25, $25 in 2021 was $18. $18 just in 2021 alone. Now, of course, what the folks at Netflix will tell us, and there's truth to it. Don't get me wrong. There's absolutely truth to it. Is, cost to create content goes up. Netflix is saying in 2026, they are going to spend $20 billion in content. $20 billion they're going to spend in content. We also have the Gina Carano Ronda Rousey fight coming that they've got to pay for. So they'll say that when we feel we have increased the quality of the channel, we will increase prices, which is not an unreasonable assertion. But let me ask you something. From just 2021 till now, has Netflix gotten $7 a month better than it was just in 2021? I contend it has not. I think it's a little bit better than it was in 2021. I don't think it's $7 a month better than it was just in 2021. And here's where it really starts to pinch your testicles. Netflix is kind of the bar setter. So once Netflix does this, you know that every other streaming service is about to match. Because they all want to stay $4 below Netflix. And if Netflix goes up a couple bucks, they're all going to go up a couple bucks. Rob, I still remember the first time, it was a few years ago. I still remember the first time when I added up all my streaming services and I was paying like over $75 a month. That same thing now is getting close to $115 a month. And I always think back to when streaming was just in its very, very early infancy. It was really more still just an idea. And everybody said, it's going to be glorious. We're going to have all this choice, and it's going to be a fraction of what cable costs us. And I bought into that hype. And I remember getting into a debate with somebody who said, you guys are idiots. You know, once this all streaming comes, it'll start. It's like a drug dealer giving you your first bump of cocaine. It's going to be cheap at first, but very quickly, it's going to be just as expensive, if not more expensive, than cable. And then people like me said, nah, you're just being salty. You're just being salty that the old model's being done away with. Well, here we are. Who looks foolish now? And listen, I get it. We get a lot of content for what we get on Netflix. We really do. There's a lot of content. A lot of it's crap, but there's a lot of good stuff on Netflix too. But man, this idea, we are now closing in on, like, if you want to get the premium one, we're closing in on $30 a month for this thing. And you know what? Here's the real big problem. When you get as big as Netflix, when almost everybody you know has Netflix, they honestly get into a position. I'm not saying they're doing this. I'm just saying you could be in a position where you go, yeah, we're going to raise it by $10. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Cancel? Be the only one of your friends that doesn't have Netflix? I don't know. And I wouldn't sweat $1, $2 price increases, but I'll tell you what, Rob, I've left gyms that like every 9 to 10 months started increasing my monthly dues by $1, $2, $3. It's like, because that really quickly starts to add up. Again, just like I said, just from 2021 till now, we've gone from $18 to $27. So what's it going to be 3 years from now? I wish there was some kind of commitment from streaming services to say, look, I get it. As time goes on, inflation goes up, prices go up. They're going to have to adjust prices as we go. I get it. But getting these types of price increases, 5 to 10% every single year, is not sustainable. So this episode is brought to you by Pocket Hose, the world's #1 expandable hose. Guys, I got to tell you, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is absolutely fantastic. First of all, if you've ever dealt with one of those old school hoses, you know exactly how annoying they are. They kink, they crease up at the spigot, and half the times it feels like you're fighting the hose more than actually watering anything. But the Pocket Hose Copperhead has this pocket pivot that swivels 360 degrees so you get full water flow and way more freedom to move around your home and yard with ease. And here's the part I really love. When you're done, it shrinks right back down to pocket size, which makes it ridiculously easy to carry, handle, and store. And after trying the Pocket Hose, I am never going back. I even now pack it with me and bring it in my camper van. It's that versatile and that good. Plus, it's backed with a 10-year warranty, which is awesome. So for a limited time, my listeners and viewers get a free pocket pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size of Copperhead hose. Just text Campea to 64,000. That's Campea to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. Campea to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. I don't know, Rob. You saw the article, Netflix increasing the prices. You heard their justifications for it. They're not, by the way, their justifications, Rob, are not completely unreasonable. They are spending more on content. They're going to spend $20 billion a year this year on content. They are the biggest game in the town. I'm not taking any of that away from it. I just feel like 5 to 10% price increases every single year, or what feels like every single 9 to 10, 11 months isn't sustainable. I don't know. What do you think about this whole thing?
Well, look, I mean, obviously, we've been talking about this now for years. It's sort of inevitable, but what the real problem, John, is not just Netflix and streaming services, it's everything else. I still use Wirecast to do my own YouTube show. Wirecast, I bought my software. They have now converted over to a subscription only service.
Oh, I didn't know that. I used to use Wirecast too.
Yeah,
I turned you on to Wirecast.
You turned me on to Wirecast.
I didn't know they went to a subscription service.
They went to, and so it's every year it's you either pay $99 a month or $600 for the year. Now, I paid $600 to buy the software, and I've been using it, but you don't have a choice. Mine converted automatically. My software converted automatically. So
yeah, it's time to go to OBS, brother. It's time to go to OBS.
I'm telling you, I know. And I'm just like, how does that happen? And this is happening all across the board. My Adobe Creative Suite for my editorial software, they're charging for every AI programs. You want to use Opus AI or Opus Cut, whatever. Everything is incredibly expensive. And these subscriptions, especially for people that do what we do, whether we're on YouTube or whether we're doing editorial of any kind, everything becomes subscription based, and the subscriptions are just skyrocketing across the board. So eventually it's not just streamers, but everyone's going to have to figure out, like, you can't keep raising prices across the board on everything. And it all comes down, I know everybody wants to make their bottom line and make more money, but how far is that going to go before consumers just don't have the cash to keep up with all these rising subscription costs? And what are we getting for it? I mean, I have the same Wirecast that I had 6 years ago, and they're making me pay $99 a month unless who's got an extra $600 in this economy to just pay for a year's subscription for something? And that's what they do. If you pay up front, you get a discount, obviously. But it's not surprising. But Netflix is still worth it, though. I think that Netflix is still worth it. The amount of time I spend on Netflix, there's always something to watch because they have such a deep breadth of material. So Netflix is something that I'll shell out the bucks for.
Yeah, look, and that's something that I've said for the last couple of years, every time like price increases for things like Disney Plus or Netflix, my fallback has been, it sucks that they raised the price again, but is it still good value for your money? If you're getting 10 hours of entertainment a week out of it, 40 hours a month for $19, is that still a half decent value proposition? And I've stood on that for a long time. And I agree with you. Right now, I believe standard ad-free Netflix is worth $19.99 a month. With the amount that, I mean, Ann uses Netflix more than I do, but I watch Netflix a bunch and Ann watches it a ton. So at $19.99 a month, it's still a not bad value proposition. The problem though is, Rob, like I've been saying that since 2021, but the price of that plan's gone up $7 since then. And that value proposition that I keep talking about is shrinking. And at some point they're going to get to that precipice where it crosses the line of being still a value proposition to, we got to start asking the question, is it worth this? I agree with you. Right now, it still is. Right now, it still is.
It is.
But that margin is shrinking.
Yes.
And we are going to start to have the conversation in the next year, 2, 3 years about, is it worth that price anymore? And then they're going to wonder why piracy is going to start picking up again. They're going to start wondering about that. You know, I'm not going to lie. I can't remember the name of the box, but even I was looking at some YouTube videos about these boxes that you can get that are kind of like Roku's, kind of like Apple TVs, kind of like Google Chromecasts, except it's got like access to all the movies and all the TV shows. And I'm like, that can't possibly be legal, but you can buy them on Amazon. It's like, even I, who am so against piracy, even I have to admit, I'm just being real with everybody. Even I looked at those YouTube videos and went, should I? And I didn't, but even I was like, should I? Because these things are getting expensive. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Netflix has just announced, surprise, surprise, what? They're raising prices again. Can't be. Yep, it's true. They are. They're raising prices again, as they do like clockwork every year, sometimes multiple times a year. The one level's now like $7 more expensive than it was just in 2021. Anyway, whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.